For your warm-up on show day, keep remembering to smile, breathe, have a little bit of fun while you're doing this. So it's important to be focused and intent on your show and on the test, but it's also important to remember that getting all stressed out and worried about it isn't going to help anything. Good boy. Great. Hello everyone. So I wanted to film a little bit of how to warm up for your dressage test. Today I'm going to be filming some of the new 2023 tests for you guys. So check out the description if you're showing this year, if you need to learn about the new tests. But it's always important to design your warm up and to really design your warm-up in such a way that you get your horse relaxed and on the aid, so that then when you go down the center line that you can make a nice performance and show off your horse. So I think one of the biggest things for when you're at the show and when you're on show day is just to remember to follow kind of the normal warm-up routine that you do at home with your horse. So I always like to spend a lot of time at the walk. Not only is the walk important to get your horse physically kind of warmed up, to get their joints moving, to get their muscles a little bit stretched out, but the walk also really helps with getting your horse relaxed and getting your horse focused. And it can also help with starting to get your horse on the aids. So always in your dressage test, the walk is a coefficient. So it is an important movement, and spending time at the walk is not time wasted. The other thing that I do with some of my horses is I'll do a little bit of lateral work in the walk. So I might just do some little baby leg yields. And this is a good way to start getting your horse connected from the inside leg to the outside rein, to start getting your horse to accept the contact a little bit more, to start getting your horse on the aids. So like here I'm doing leg yield off my right leg. I'm working on connecting him from the right leg to the left rein. And for this guy, it helps to get his back a little bit softer if I'm able to do some leg yields at the walk. Also, for your warm-up on show day, keep remembering to smile, breathe, have a little bit of fun while you're doing this. So it's important to be focused and intent on your show and on the test, but it's also important to remember that getting all stressed out and worried about it isn't going to help anything. Good boy. So I'm just going to do a couple little leg yields here at the walk, especially if you're doing first level, if you have a leg yield in your test. This is a good thing to practice a little bit at the walk. And if you're doing second level or third level or anything above, then again, the leg yields are a good setup for the lateral work that you might have in your test. So then I'm going to go ahead and pick up the trot, and I'm letting him be just a little bit long and low to start out with. I'm thinking about establishing steady tempo and steady contact. So a big part of your warm-up is focusing on the base of the training scale, focusing on the basics. So the basics are rhythm, suppleness, and contact. Good boy. So the trot rhythm is just 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. I'm thinking about getting a steady contact in both reins. Here I'm letting him be a little bit stretching down. If your horse, I don't warm up every horse this low. So you, again, like I said, you have to kind of follow the format of how your warm up goes at home. If your horse is a little tense and distracted and you can't get them to stretch down in the warm up, that's okay. So I'm actually going to bring him up into a little bit more of a normal frame with his pull the highest point here. Good boy. And this is helping to get him a little bit more balanced on his hind legs. Good boy. A little shoulder forward there. So again, I'm focusing on rhythm, suppleness, and contact. Since I did a few little leg yields at the walk, I might just turn early here and then do a little bit of a leg yield at the trot where I'm getting him off of my inside leg and into that outside rein. Good boy. A little bit forward. Good. But it's always important to take your time in the warm-up to really get your horse on the aids, get your horse listening. So I want him to be between my legs and reins. I want to be able to control the amount of energy in my gait. A boy. And I want him to be relaxed and focused. Boy. So then I'm going to start with some transitions. That transition to canter was not the best. He came a little above the bit. He didn't really go directly from trot to canter. So I'm just going to stay a moment in the canter and let him settle a bit in the canter, and then I'm going to repeat those trot, canter, trot transitions. I get a nice canter here. Boy, transition to trot, little shoulder in feeling, tempo, contact, trotting, tempo, contact, trotting. No, he needs to take my leg gait a little better here. There, and canter. That was better. Good boy. Half halt, canter. Good boy. I want him to be in front of the leg. I want him to have jump in the canter. Good boy. But I also want to make sure that he's staying relaxed. Good boy. Transition to trot. Boy, change direction. So a lot of transitions, a lot of getting him going from inside leg into the outside rein is the best way to warm up for your test. You do want to do some of the patterns and some of the movements that you have in your test, but it's always just most important to first get your horse relaxed, get your horse on the aids, make sure you can do some transitions. Good boy. Good boy. Talk to your horse, tell them they're good, because probably if you're a little bit nervous at the show getting ready for your test, your horse is going to feel that. So just remember that. Tell your horse they're good, reassure them a little bit. Boy. Keep going, buddy. Rhythm, tempo, contact. Rhythm, tempo, contact. Half halt, canter. Half halt, canter. Half halt, canter. Good boy. Good boy. So my best advice for the warm-up is to really just take your time focusing on the basics. Follow the same routine with your horse that you follow at home. And remember to reassure your horse, give them little pets, breathe. And then once you've kind of gone through your normal warm-up routine, then you can maybe practice some of the movements that you have in your test. It's important that you don't practice movements that you don't have in your test. So for example, if you're doing second level and you have to counter canter, do not practice flying changes in your warm-up, because that's going to get your horse too hyped up and too excited. So play around with some of the movements that you need to do in your test once your horse is relaxed and on the eights. So I hope this helps you guys with your warm-up for the show. I feel like if I was going to show him first level, for example, I would want to work on some trot and canter lengthenings, so maybe a few halts, a few leg yields before I went into the show ring. Also, check out the description below. I have a training level, a first level, and a second level course if you're interested in learning more about those levels. And if you're showing this year, that might really help you to get ready for your first test. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you're planning on showing and what level. Good boy, Leo.